Susie Salas, and I'm going to be teaching you about the respiratory system. The learning objectives for this presentation is to recognize the purpose of the respiratory system, identify the components of the respiratory system, explain the function of the respiratory system, recognize how the respiratory system works with other body systems, identify how to take care of the respiratory system, and recognize a common condition and symptoms of the respiratory system. You breathe in and out approximately 23,000 times a day without having to think about it. This proves how important the respiratory system is. Respiration is the exchange of gases between your body and the air. When you inhale, your body takes in oxygen from the air, which is necessary for your cells in order to stay alive. Carbon dioxide is a waste gas that is produced when carbon is combined with oxygen as part of the body's energy-making processes. When you exhale, your body gets rid of that carbon dioxide. There are many organs that make up the respiratory system. All these organs have a purpose. The nose and mouth are one of the respiratory system's many organs. Air enters through them both, and they're also both lined with mucous membranes. Fine hairs called cilia trap dirt or other particles that you breathe in through the nose. The pharynx is a muscular tube behind the nose and mouth. The trachea is the windpipe that directs air to the lungs and is also lined with cilia, which sweep fluids and particles out of the airway so that they stay out of the lungs. Its walls are strengthened by stiff rings of cartilage to keep it open. The epiglottis is a flap of tissue that closes over the trachea when you swallow. The larynx is the upper part of the respiratory system, which contains the vocal cords. The bronchi are the main passages through which the air enters the lungs. The bronchioles are the tiny branches of air tubes within the lungs that are a continuation of the bronchus. The alveoli are tiny air sacs within the lungs that allow oxygen and carbon dioxide to move between the lungs and bloodstream. Capillaries are the smallest blood vessels that oxygenate blood from the arteries to the tissues of the body. Now you might ask yourself, where does the air you breathe in go after you inhale it? How does the oxygen you inhale travel through the body? Well, now that we recognize each organ, we can identify the way the respiratory system works. It all begins with the nose. When you inhale oxygen, it passes into the pharynx. The pharynx has two passageways, one for the esophagus, which is the passageway that takes food to the stomach, and another one for the trachea, which is where the air belongs. If food went down the trachea, it would cut off our air supply and choke us. But luckily, the entrance to the trachea is guarded by the epiglottis. The epiglottis closes like a gate when we swallow food and prevents food from going down the trachea. After oxygen passes through the trachea, it travels through the larynx. Below the larynx, the trachea divides into two separate tubes that are called the bronchi. The bronchi lead into the lungs, and inside the lungs, they form branches repeatedly into smaller and smaller tubes. The smallest tubes are called bronchioles. At the end of the bronchioles, the alveoli is located. The alveoli are surrounded by capillaries. Oxygen then goes in the capillaries and joins the red blood cells. The oxygen particles are then carried around the body to all organs and tissues. Carbon dioxide travels through the opposite direction as the oxygen particles are diffused through the walls of the tiny air sacs into the bloodstream. This all makes its way back into the lungs, which allows us to exhale. The respiratory system is not an independent system. It works well with other body systems. One of them is the circulatory system. The respiratory system oxygenates blood and the circulatory system circulates it throughout the body. This process is simple. The respiratory system provides oxygen to the circulatory system, which is then sent to the organs via the arteries. The veins carry the deoxygenated blood to the heart so it can be replenished. The respiratory system also works with the muscular system. It provides oxygen that is necessary for the muscle cells in order for them to function. Without the respiratory system, the muscular system wouldn't work properly. But the respiratory system also needs the muscular system. Without the muscular system, the respiratory system wouldn't work properly either. Some of the necessary organs that make up the respiratory system are surrounded by smooth muscles that are needed for proper functioning. This is why these systems depend on each other. The respiratory system also depends on the skeletal system. Without the skeletal system, the upper respiratory tract would have no structure at all and would only be soft tissues. The skeletal system also provides protection for a very important necessary organ of the respiratory system. This organ is the lungs. The rib cage protects it, and the bones also help the amount of air that can be taken in and let out. Since this system is so helpful to us as humans, it is important for us to keep it healthy. One way to keep the respiratory system healthy is by maintaining a healthy weight. Excess weight puts more stress on your lungs and compresses all respiratory muscles, making them work harder and less efficiently. Maintaining a healthy weight is beneficial for the functioning of the respiratory system. Staying hydrated can also keep the respiratory system healthy. Drinking plenty of water every day helps maintain a healthy weight and gives a consistency to the mucus lining your airways and lungs. Dehydration causes the mucus to thicken and get sticky, which slows down overall respiration and makes you more exposable to illnesses. Avoiding smoke is another great way to keep the respiratory system healthy. Cigarette smoke contains many chemicals that interfere with the body's method of filtering air and cleaning out the lungs. Smoking damages the lungs and respiratory health by inducing inflammation and killing your cells that can take you down through many illnesses that could result in death. If we fail to take care of the respiratory system, we can develop diseases or other illnesses. The most common disease is asthma. Asthma is a lung disease that makes breathing difficult for more than 3 million people per year. It is a condition in which the airway narrows and swells and produces extra mucus. Asthma can't be cured, but its symptoms can be controlled. The symptoms of this disease are shortness of breath, chest tightness or pain, a whistling or wheezing sound when exhaling. These symptoms can be controlled by medications provided by your doctor. When asthma symptoms are in high gear, an inhaler provided by your doctor is the way to go. An inhaler is a handheld device that delivers medication straight into your lungs. The sudden worsening of the asthma symptoms can cause an asthma attack. An asthma attack is caused when the muscles around your airways tighten. During an asthma attack, the lining of the airway becomes swollen or inflamed. Some people grow out of asthma and others deal with it for as long as they live. Symptoms are frequent to some and to others, they're not. Some people only experience asthma symptoms during a specific time period during the year. Asthma doesn't have the same effect on every person. But overall, the respiratory system is very important to us humans, and I hope you learned a lot about it.